Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kings Spotlight. We are joined again this week by Kings head football coach Jeff Knarr. Coach, thank you for being with us again this week.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, this week Kings will be on the road for a second straight conference game when the Monarchs travel to Annville to face Lebanon Valley College. Before we look ahead to that game, though, let's take a look at last week's game, a loss to defending conference champion Stevenson. Heading into the Stevenson game last week, you talked about the need to play mistake-free turnover football against a Stevenson team that has feasted off of turnovers the past few years. Unfortunately, that proved to be the case with a fumble on the opening kickoff, 2 pass interceptions, one that was returned for a pick six, and 2 missed field goals.
Yeah, I mean, we dug ourselves a hole, early, from that deal, and then good teams. So we talked to the kids about, they're going to seize, those opportunities. The thing we liked, we missed the block. A guy got in there, made a nice, strip on the kick return. They score right there, but then offensively we come back and get a great kick return, get it out to midfield, and drive down. But then we miss a field goal, but then we get a 3 and out. So our kids kind of, answered the bell, didn't let that affect them, and moved on, which is the side of a mature football team. But the first half, we were just kind of inconsistent offensively, hurt ourselves. Defensively, hanging in there. Then anytime you give a non-offensive touchdown, that just adds, makes it easier for the opponent, and doing that. So we made too many mistakes and dug ourselves, too big of a hole in the first half.
Well, on the positive side, the offense did manage to move the ball, gaining 325 yards of total offense, as well as 18 first downs, while the defense played pretty well, forcing 7 Stevenson punts, but also gave up 4 scoring drives of 59 yards or more. So talk about the execution on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, offensively, the first half we were kind of, spitting and sputtering. We struggled to get into a rhythm with there, which hurt us. As we had a majority of our 3 and outs, the ones we had like 4 or 5 of them in the first half, and only 1 in the second half. And then the second half, we put 2 10-play drives together, a 14-play drive together. We played with much better tempo, more like our offense, and did some good things. Defensively, the first half, we came out and again forced a bunch of 3 and outs for them, forced them to punt the ball, played physical, did a really good job, but then had self-inflicted mistakes. We had 30 yards of penalties on one drive, which led to a touchdown, and then opportunities to get off the field on a 3rd and short. We missed a tackle on the backfield, 3rd and long. We allowed them to convert for a first down, and they get a touchdown there. But I thought, defensively, we played well. We controlled, the running game much better than we did, in the past. Held 3, in check from there. They hit us on some big plays as they had some, athletes and things like that. But overall, defensively, we guys clean things up, and then offensively, we need to be more consistent, play like we did in the second half, for all 4 quarters, and then we've been better. And then obviously, still in the red zone, we got to make our field goals. We had the distance on the second one was a long one, but we just a little bit wide and mishit the first one. But you got to come up with points again when you're playing a team of the caliber of Stevenson. You can't leave points on the field.
Coach, the running game on offense is still a little bit of an unproven commodity, and that has to do with a lot of young players. A bunch of young guys on the offensive line and only 2 returning starters there. You also have a brand new set of running backs. But how do you feel the running game has been progressing since you began training camp?
They're working hard. They're trying to get better at it. We lost, Brian Olson, went down, in the 11th play of the game, offensive line wise. So then, Joe Parker, a young freshman, had to step in and did a great job. Peter Swartz got his, extended playing time, for us there, and those guys are working, hard and getting better. The running backs, we talk to them, they're working hard. The thing is sometimes they try to do too much on plays. Trying to make a home run, on every run. So we're working with them to just see the cuts and, take the 6 that they give you, and 6 over time, can break into a big play later on. But when you start to try to make a big play every run, you're making too many cuts, in the hole, not hitting your speed, not utilizing your talents to your full stability, then a good defense can rein us in. So we're working, on those, and they're starting to understand that and do that better. And the lines, coming better, and but we like that they are being physical, trying to secure the first level, work to the second level. We're being more consistent than we've been in the past with that. So it's just a matter of continue to work and develop the run game, and it's a work in progress, but we're seeing some improvement with that.
Well, Coach, looking ahead to this week's game against Lebanon Valley, it's a chance for the Monarchs to improve to 2-1 overall and get to 1-1 in the MAC. Lebanon Valley is also 1-1 entering the game, and they are 1-0 in the MAC after a 36-0 shutout of Wilkes on Saturday. It was a game where Lebanon Valley took advantage of some short field opportunities, as only one of their 6 scoring drives was over 50 yards.
Yeah, Lev Val, Wilkes kind of a similar game to us. I think they fumbled their first offensive snap, had some kind of miscue, I think, on a punt, and then they, had a short punt that Lev Val put into, play there, and it might have been another turnover or something. But they gave Lev Val a very short field, and again, Lev Val, they're very physical, punishing run game, and they were able to, cash in on the short fields there, and then they play a very physical, punishing, defense. And I think Wilkes had, the quarterback went out with an injury, and so that changed their offense. And Lev Val, had their way, but took advantage early, on turnovers, which again, teams, good teams, that's what they do. You give them an opportunity for a short field, they're going to make you pay. And Lev Val did that to Wilkes last Saturday.
Well, Coach, you referenced the Lebanon Valley running game. They've been consistently one of the top running teams in the league for several years now, and they gained 225 yards on the ground against Wilkes. Talk about their running game and why it has been so consistently successful.
Well, I think the main reason it's successful is they believe in the run game. We're going to run the football, no matter what. We can run it against, anybody and everybody. And they get their line to work really hard. They're very physical. They get their double teams together, and then they run their feet and keep good movement. And they have good backs that have, patience and vision, good speed, and they have, a bigger back that they bring in who can, lower his shoulder and run people over. Their quarterback can make plays with their feet. They bring the ex-quarterback, into the backfield and kind of run like a wildcat where he takes, the ball and runs it from there. But they're fully committed to running the game, and they get their line and their quarterback to run the offense the way they need to from there. And then they stay with it. And then they're very physical at the point of attack, and they have success moving the ball on the ground.
Well, Lebanon Valley has not been a big passing team the last few years, and this season they're only averaging 111 passing yards per game, including 133 against Wilkes. But while they don't pass often, they typically make it count when it happens, and there must be some sort of element of surprise when they pass, considering how strong that their run is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they want to lull you to sleep, get guys to not, do their job, start to help creep in and help with the run game, and then that's when they're going to boot you, naked you, play action. They're very good on the sprint. They cut the edge very well, get their quarterback out on the edge where he can run or throw. So when they throw it, they're throwing it for a reason. They're usually trying to get a big play. They allow people to sleep, and then they can do that. And they have a 6'6", wide receiver who can go up and get the ball. Moving 1-2 receiver, I think was a great move on them because he's a tremendous athlete with great speed, so he can get by people. Plus, runs good routes. They have 2 tight ends that can both, very physical in the run game, but also, be more than adequate in the pass game. So yeah, they want to run. As soon as you start, adding guys at a box, trying to stop the run, the next thing you know, they're going to play action, you boot you, naked you, and hit that big pass. So our kids, we need to have tremendous discipline on defense. Do your job. If you're a pass first guy, play pass. If you're a run first guy, play run, and not try to mix the two and get ourselves in trouble where we give them an easy, big play.
Coach, Lebanon Valley defense has also been pretty strong so far this season, allowing only 239 yards per game after 2 games. They have yielded just 85.5 rushing yards per game and 154 passing yards each game. What do they do well defensively, and is there any concern of their defense making your offense one-dimensional if we have difficulty running the ball?
Well, for us to try to not be one-dimensional, we've got to try to play with tempo, and like we always do, try to be in rhythm, and that's the key for offense every week to do well there. But again, they're physical, and when you're going against yourself in camp and practice, if you're going against a physical punishing offense, you need to have a physical, aggressive, attack-oriented defense. I mean, their safeties, get very involved in the run game. They have big, linebackers. Their D line is, very quick, but they're also very technically sound. They do a great job of taking on double teams and not allowing the second guy to come off to the second level. They're able to eat 2 guys up at once and hold their ground. So that's huge because that allows their linebackers to run free, and they're sure tacklers and then athletic and physical on defense, which they need to be to go against the offense that they see every day. So we need to play again with rhythm and tempo and try to have balance to keep them honest on defense.
Overall, how would you rate your team's performance after the first 2 games? What areas do you think have been strengths, as well as what areas do you think need the most improvement right now?
I think overall, we kind of, we're our own, worst enemy. We made some plays against, Moravian that could have, made our job, our night a little bit easier from there. We didn't make those catastrophic, mistakes, so we can, kind of learn from them. And then you step up in a quality of opponent of Stevenson. Now we made some mistakes that were catastrophic that a good team, took care of it from there. But you look at things that we did, we always look at ourselves and how can we get better and what we can do to execute. We're our own worst, enemy. We can clean some of those things up. I think we're going to be fine and working hard. So we like the direction we're going. Their effort is always there. Things we like most last year, we didn't get to the quarterback a lot. We had numerous pressures on the quarterback on Saturday. Only got credit for one sack, but hit him a lot as he threw our. So up front, we're doing a good job of putting pressure on the quarterback. We're defending the run, much better. That was a point of emphasis, from that standpoint. And then, from an offensive standpoint, just the consistency. We seem to just be a little bit off. And early on in the year, I think the defenses are sometimes ahead of the offenses. So we're just working hard to, get in rhythm and then, be more consistent offensively. But kind of like how we're working it that way, and it's going to come. And then defensively, really like the way we're playing, physical football.
Well, Coach, that concludes this episode of Kings Spotlight. Good luck to you and the Monarchs on Saturday when your team travels to Annville, Pennsylvania to face Lebanon Valley in a 1 p.m. MAC matchup.
Thanks for having me.